This one is called Ephraim. His name was Ephraim. He was a 19-year-old black man boy from East LA who quit high school when they tried to burn down Watts and joined the Marines because he heard they were the best and he was just learning about pride. He wanted to marry the girl who worked in the library in the neighborhood and go into some kind of business with his dad. He was in charge of a 60mm mortar team, and I liked him a lot. One day, too many years ago, in a faraway place, Ephraim and I and some other guys got ambushed, and Ephraim died. He saved all of our lives, and he died doing it. The next day, they sent me to the big mortuary over in Da Nang to identify his body, and I went. I walked into this gigantic refrigerator with racks stacked up like a troop ship. Many, many green bags. The guy who worked there took me to a rack, read the tag, unzipped the bag, and there he was. I looked into that old, young, wise face. I missed his smile. I wanted to reach over and touch his cheek, but I wasn't allowed. You see, I was a young man too unsure of his own manhood, as we all were in that faraway time, so I wasn't allowed. I wanted to cry, but the guy who worked there was standing there eating his lunch, so I didn't. I needed to say goodbye, but instead all I said was, yes, that's the right one. So now it's getting on toward evening, and I look out on the gathering sadness, and I remember nights. I remember nights of automatic weapons, lacing the darkness with the color of death. And I think of a friend. Good night, Ephraim. Johnny T's Purple Heart. I remember the air tasting like smoke. All around me there were dirty gray puffs that I knew were explosions. Too much to hear, almost too much to see. Sensory overload. I can still feel the warm liquid spreading down my legs. Civilization poked a bony finger at me. Thou shalt not pee thy pants, little boy. As if anyone would care or even notice. Just another day at the office. Wondering why it all seems to make sense sometimes, not thinking beyond that incoming mortar fire. Hearing an old song running through my head and remembering. Johnny T's head, all swollen up like a basketball. After a centipede stung him in the face during the night. He died from it and they wouldn't give him a Purple Heart. So Snake and me tried to sneak a pistol into the big mortuary over in Da Nang to shoot his body so they'd send his mama a medal. They caught us naturally, but they didn't know what to do with us. We were crazy, of course, they were right. But they had decided that there would be no psychiatric casualties. So they were stuck somewhere between policy and reality. I've spent a good deal of time since then stuck somewhere between policy and reality. Mike Torelli died today. I watched Mike Torelli die today. I felt his warm life leak out all over my pants as I held his head in my lap and looked into his young eyes questioning. Why me, he seemed to say. Why me? I have no answers for him. I don't know why he was the one the bullet picked to rip and tear and hurt. I asked him if he was all right, meaning was he in pain? But instead, he said that as near as he could tell, he had made his peace with God and everything would be okay. I wonder how a 19-year-old Marine from the South Bronx could know such things.